I'm Hossein Shekari, first of all. Everybody knows me as Hoss.
How are you? Good?
Good, and you?
Good, thank you. Listen, I have a lot of issues with my phone. Big problems. I need things fixed and I need to have a good service. Can you help me?
We could definitely help you. It just happens that the boss is pulling over. If you'd like, I could offer you a coffee while he comes in, and he'll be able to help you.
I do really appreciate that. Thank you so much.
What do? I own HDCom, which is a telecom business. Bell stores, Virgin stores. We cater to anything from regular people to businesses to enterprises. I also own JS Party, which is party planning for kids' parties. Okay. Started about 9 years ago. That's it. That's me, man.
And why Hoss?
Why Hoss? Honestly, French people
No,
couldn't say.
not honestly. Just lie about it.
French people couldn't say Hossein, so say Hossein and then there was a rep of mine, an employee, super cool kid, and he came out with Hoss. And he kept calling me Hoss, but nobody else would. And then we noticed it was just easier for people to remember. And then older people, not like us, like, Nick Dorosos and other old people that run your show, those people know this show, I think was called Bonanza, and there was a Hoss in there. See, everybody, and that's how I knew what, everybody's like, do you know Bonanza? And not really, like, I'm not that old. But it caught on and it's easy to remember. And then it became Hoss the Boss, then it became Hoss Boss, and it just stuck.
Interesting. How long have you been an entrepreneur now?
12 years now.
12 years. Are you born here?
I was 8 when we got to Canada. We actually left Iran, I was 7. So it took us a year to get to Canada, which we left Iran, we went to Syria. For 2 weeks we were in Syria because you weren't really allowed to leave Iran. So it was all with fake visas. And so imagine, like, when we talk and we say, I want to do something, but I'm scared, but I'm worried. What if it doesn't work out? And if you think back, and my father with 3 kids decided to leave his business.
And with $200 he came to Canada, right?
When we got here, we had $200 left.
That's crazy.
The reason why we had 200 when we got here is that when we went to Syria, it was supposed to be for 2 weeks. And then from Syria to Lebanon for 2 weeks, supposed to be. But we got stuck for 6 months in Lebanon.
Wow.
Now you live in a hotel for 6 months with 3 kids.
You probably enjoyed the kibanaya there.
No, actually, you know what? When we were there was the war between Israel and Lebanon.
Okay.
I still remember the holes in the room. They had these walls, and then you had bullet holes in the room. And we stayed there for 6 months. And after that, I went to Italy, 2 weeks in Italy, and then we landed in Canada.
And why did you guys leave Iran?
Political reasons, mostly. And then the other issue was that I was born with heart problems. And in Iran, it's all about the money. So at the age of 3, 4, they start saying, well, he needs open heart surgery. And my parents didn't believe it. So they said, let's try to get something better to see, does he truly need it or not?
Okay.
Why they chose Canada, I don't really know. Till to this day, I just don't know what my dad's answer would be to that. But when we got here, they said that, no, I don't need heart surgery. Yes, there's a tiny hole in my heart. There's a murmur, which a lot of people live with murmurs, and there's nothing wrong with it. And then my blood pressure was fine, everything was fine. Until the age of 17, we were at my uncle's house. And he had a pool. The reason why we were there all the summer, because it was the only person we knew that had actually a pool. And we're in the pool, I still remember when I started breathing, I felt like I was gargling water. And I came out of the water, and I went up to see my mom, and my mom was inside, and I just remember hitting on the glass patio door. And when she looked at me, when you could tell that person is fear, and when she looked at me, it made me panic of, okay, what's going on? And then I remember her calling my sister, saying, call an ambulance, and the more I was talking, I couldn't breathe. So if I would get on my knees, I could breathe better. I still remember by the time the ambulance got there, I was lying on the floor, because the only way I could actually get some air. And then when they got there, imagine this is now in Shadowgate. And what?
Shadowgate. I used to live there, yeah.
Oh yeah, it's true, you told me.
Yeah.
And when the ambulance comes, they bring you to the closest hospital. And my mom refused. She kept saying, no, you have to bring him to the children's, because he's followed there. I don't remember getting to the hospital. I just remember getting there. Imagine 17-year-old in children's hospital. It's all usually little kids there. And then they passed some tests and they came back. They said, well, it's not really water. It's the blood in your lungs. So all these years that they kept saying everything's fine, well, that hole that I had, the blood that was leaking from it was going straight to my lungs. And then I made me realize, I still remember 15, when I used to go for checkups every year, the doctors used to always take me aside, ask, do you smoke? Like, no. Are you sure? Like, I'm not lying. We're not going to tell your parents, but this time was the blood that in the x-rays would show as if I was a smoker, but it's actually blood that was sitting in my lungs. And then they gave me a pill. With 3 days later, all the blood was out of my lungs.
Okay.
And then it was, okay, well, you need open heart surgery now. And I still remember saying, no, I'm not doing it.
How old were you then?
17.
17.
You know what, I still remember when you meet doctors, they tell you like 1 in how many odds that you'll have this. You know, it was 1 in 200,000 that had what I had. And then when the doctor's talking to my parents and he's saying it was a 10% chance that he's not gonna make it. All I'm thinking is like, well, if it's 1 in 200,000 to have it, 10%, to me, it's really high. So I'm gonna die, I don't wanna do it. I saw my doctor looking at me saying, well, if you don't do it, it's 100% that you die. If you do it, it's 90% that you make it.
So the incident when it happened, was it, you were 7 or 7 when you were 17 when Chateauguay?
17, 3 days later, I had open heart surgery.
Okay, and what the hell was going in your mind?
That I'm dead. You know, I've had a lot of surgeries because of my heart. You know, I don't know if you know angio. Angio is they go through your artery with a camera and they go check your heart to see what's going on, how it's reacting. And I had 3 of those already. I had a lot of complications because of my heart, so I've had other surgeries. So I know what surgery feels like. You know, falling asleep is just falling asleep. You know, they give you the needle and a couple of minutes later you're falling asleep. But open heart, when you think about it, you know what's going to happen to you when you go in there. And they actually take your heart out of your body.
Oh my God.
To fix it and put it back.
That's...
Yeah, I was, you know, in my head, like, and I talk to you about it now, and the hair is standing up on my arms, but I wish I was gonna wake up. You know,
like, did you like tell your parents, listen? Like,
they make you say goodbye to your parents. Yeah, what if? You know, and then you go in and you think about it, and I think it was a 14-hour surgery, and then they came out, and I don't know all this, right? They came out. After the surgery, what they do is they close back your chest and they do another echo just to see if everything went well. And the doctor went back to see my parents saying, listen, there's something we missed. 2 options. We open up again, or in 5 to 10 years he needs surgery again. But it's your call. But again, there's only so long you could be sleeping on meds. But now imagine as a parent, you have to make that decision. And my dad went to open again. So they reopened
the same
day.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
So you just had a 14-hour surgery.
Plus another 6 after.
But
so for 20 hours.
But you woke up after, you're still sleeping.
I'm sleeping, I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, I remember waking up, I don't know if it was the day after, but I swear to God, if you would walk by me, it would hurt me. Like any movement of the air would affect me so much. And you know, I still remember waking up, and I'll show you my scar after, but it's from here to here. And at 17, you're still growing. So I started waking up and they said, well, you're gonna have to get up and walk. But this is the day after your surgery. I said, how am I gonna get up? Like, if I do this, everything hurts. So like, well, if you wanna go home, you're gonna have to get up. So I got up, and I still remember, as soon as I got up, I just threw up. It was 6 days I was in the hospital, that's it. And it's supposed to be like, you're there for a month as a kid, but 6 days, because I want to go home. So I'd walk every day, because you have to walk to get, and I don't know if you know this, but if your body opens up, there's a lot of air that goes in your body that's not supposed to be there. So you're bloated. So, you know, your stomach is big, your face is big, everything is, you don't look like yourself, you don't feel like yourself. I remember walking back and forth. Now imagine, I missed the last 2 months of school, because you can't go to school after that. But Sec 5. Now you're missing out in school, then I gotta go to college after, but I can't do my final exams. So I walk, and I still remember it was hurting so much that I would walk slanted. And again, like I said, I was 17, so you're still growing. I saw my dad used to walk behind me and punch me in the back. Stand up straight.
Wow.
Because they said if it heals wrong, well, you can't really walk straight anymore if your skin is pulled down. So today you're gonna see if I walk around, I always walk really straight. A lot of people say, how come you walk like that? Because I got used to it, that I gotta walk straight, because otherwise what if it doesn't heal properly? But you know, a lot of people that have heart surgery, they have like this thin line. The mine is thick, because I grew, so it opened up, it expanded where the surgery was.
What the hell did your parents, like, what was going through their mind at that time? Even your other siblings?
I know. My son, when my wife was pregnant with my son, they discovered that his liver had a little, a black spot on it. And they said, well, it happens a lot in boys. We'll only know in a year if he has liver problems. And to me, it's a liver problem. And to me I want to die. Like, why is this happening to my kid? And then you think back, like, what am I talking about? Like, my heart was defective. Mm-hmm. My parents went through it. Now, I'm not saying it was easy, but if I always tend to compare myself to, okay, well, the situation could be 100 times worse. Can I handle this? And we're just going to get through it, And thank God a year later when they did the echo to my son, that was fixed. Just like they said it was going to get probably fixed, and it did. But I know as a parent, when you see your kid and you can't do anything about it. You have kids, when just by having a cold, you feel so bad for them.
Of course.
Now imagine something that you can't control. Scary as hell.
Very scary, for sure.
Yeah.
And very spiritual, religious?
No, not very religious at all. In Iran, when we grew up, it's ran by religion, which is one of the things that my dad too was against. You believe whatever you want to believe, as long as you're a good person. It doesn't matter if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Catholic, whatever it is, just be a good person. That's what I think too. As long as I can go to bed knowing I didn't do anything wrong to anybody, and I did everything I could to help someone, I'm fine.
When you were going to sleep, were you praying?
Yeah, it's weird, huh? I say I'm not religious, but I still say, if I talk to you and say, I swear to God, or, oh God, please, I'll still say it, thinking the universe, I truly believe what you throw out comes back at you. There's something, I don't know what it is.
Energy.
Yeah, I truly believe in that. It's like today in business, I say it to my staff, and I don't look for money. I don't look for the business. It's just be happy, be honest. It's just gonna come to you. And it always does. As soon as you're in a good place, I see you guys, when I came, I visited you guys before the show already. I could see what a happy place it is. And you'll succeed just because it's happy. If you put yourself in an environment that's so stressful, it's just going to reflect on them, but not them, everybody around you.
Absolutely.
But the guys, the way you guys run it, it's so fun. Like, I want to hang out. Like, when I came, I never left. I stayed 2-3 hours with you guys. Mm-hmm. I believe in the same way. I was in the car coming here with my sister, and her husband called her, and he sounded down, and I cracked 2-3 jokes. And she said, if ever you're down, just call Hoss. Within 2 minutes, he'll make you feel like there's nothing wrong in life, which there isn't.
Basically, you bully somebody a couple of times, and they're back to normal.
And they know that, but they better act properly next time.
Okay, so now going back, when did you become an entrepreneur? What age, were you born with it? Also, coming as an immigrant to Canada.
Yeah. Very good question.
A lot of people,
question, right.
Immigrants come and they build the country. Let's face it, right? A lot of immigrants do that. What's your opinion on that? And when did you have the bug? Were you born with it?
Again, my father. My father never worked for anybody when we came here. My dad's degree was not accepted here. So he couldn't do what he did all his life.
Which was?
An engineer. He used to take out the boats, the big boats from the water. Depending what time the water goes up or down. So they had to build the mold that the boat sits on. So when the water goes down, they could repair it. And so he was the one that would supervise it. But here, his degree wasn't good. So my dad went into construction. And, small jobs at the beginning. And then bigger and bigger to building restaurants. And when I got the bug, I think was 18, 19 years old. I was working for Bell at that time, at a Bell store. And I started flipping cars. I would buy cars and sell cars. And at that time, there was no internet and Lepak and Kijiji. So it was all the magazines and driving around seeing signs on cars. And I used to go negotiate so much, but I didn't care if I wouldn't buy your car. So it's a lot easier to negotiate when you don't care. So I would throw in a number and you wouldn't react, I would leave. Then I'll call you back and offer you even lower. And you freak out, yeah, but listen, by now I saw 10 other cars. Yours is not worth what I thought it was worth when I saw it. So I had 3-4 cars at a time. So when I used to go to work at the Bell store, everybody was like, what do you do? So I flipped cars. It was cars, 2, 3, 4,000. Not more, because people couldn't afford more. And it was easier to flip a car that's cheaper. It became such a passion. I always liked cars. So at 20, my dad said, you owe me $10,000. So why do I have to give you $10,000? Because we're buying a fourplex, and you're going to own half, so you owe me 10 grand. I didn't even question him. So okay, I sold 3 cars, gave him 10 grand. And we bought a fourplex. And at that time was when the market had crashed so much and it was just starting to go up. And I still remember the guy before us that had bought it 6 months prior, 88,000. And we picked it up for 110. So in 6 months, that guy made 30,000 bucks.
Yeah.
But again, my dad's background renovation, we bought a dump. We didn't buy anything nice.
What was the rental income on it?
It was $1,500 a month, and the mortgage was $750.
Oh.
So it was already a winner from the get-go, you know?
That's like the US prices now. It's amazing.
Yeah?
Absolutely.
And then I still remember my mindset was wrong at my age. At 21, I want to sell it. I want to cash out. My dad's like, no, this is a long term. What do you mean long term? He's like, we're going to keep it forever. No, I'm not. This is not what I do. My mentality of cars. I'm going to start flipping them. No. So I let it go. Didn't sell it. At the age of 24, I was going to get married. I was still working at Bell at a different dealer. And my dad said, okay, I want to sell it. At that time, my dad still didn't own a house here. He was just renting condos and apartments. And I said, why? He said, I want to buy a house. So I'll buy the fourplex. Now, you see how it changed within 4 years that I'm the one that, no, I don't want to sell anything anymore. I want to keep it, which I did. I bought out my dad and kept the fourplex. And then that's when shit hit the fan in my life. I don't know if I told you, when I started working for Bell, I started telemarketing. Okay. And I hated it. I hated it because it was capped. Let's say you could perform up to $1,100 commission, you couldn't get more. But within a week or two, I would hit my quotas. But then I knew I wasn't going to make more.
So you had to sandbag.
So then I would slow down, you know, and then they would give me shit. How come you're not on call? So, well, you don't give me nothing. Like, yeah, we pay you hourly. So, yeah, but give me his commission. He's not going to make his numbers. I'll make his numbers, give me his. I'll make his numbers, give me his too. It doesn't work that way. So I can't handle this. And then I applied to change, to go work in the store. And these big corporations, you know, you got to wait 18 months before you can apply to change positions. And at that time, I didn't know that Bell had franchise stores. And I was driving down in Laval on Saint-Martin, and I walked into a Bell store. I said, do you guys hire? He's like, sure. What's your background? As soon as I told him what I sell, and I knew how to sell home services over the phone. If you can control someone over the phone. Yeah. I saw in the stories, I used to make ladies go get their purse, take out 25 cents from your purse. She would say, why? So, well, this is how much it costs you to get a coffee, right? She's like, yeah. So this is how much it can cost you to get your phone. And then it would sell and sell. And when they found out what I sell, at that time, those things were big commission for franchisees, and they weren't good at it. So the guy said, yeah, I'll hire you. And I'm thinking, I just found a way to get out, but I didn't know that there wasn't a real Bell store. So I show up and they say their company name. I'm like, what the hell is this? It's like, well, it's a franchise. We own this location. And that's how my career started at Bell, I would say. Youngest manager, I was 19. I was a manager of a store, of a brand new store that he opened up. $1 million that he spent on the store. And he gave it to me and said, okay, you run it. It didn't take long before we started making really good profit. And things started going really well for me. Then it became that I was coaching all the managers, how to train their staff, how to sell, how to run their stores. And then at the age of 24, they got rid of the VP. And I went to see the owner, said, I want it. He's like, what do you mean? So I want to be the VP. So you're too young. So it didn't stop you when I was 20. So it didn't stop you today. I'm still running the whole thing. So I don't get it. He said, give me a year. I said, nope. The same thing as what you said. So I'm not going to give you a year. It's now or nothing. He's like, Hoss, wait a year. Okay. I went back. I applied another dealer. Within a week, I was gone. I went to another dealership. Again, another franchisee that owned a bunch of stores. Number one in Canada. One of the stores that he had. And I still remember when I met him, he says, well, what are you going to do? If we're already on top, how could you make it better? I said, you give me 2 weeks. If it doesn't work out, I'll leave. I said, but if I fix it, so then I take over the other stores too. Just go ahead. Within 2 weeks, broke records. Because my management was different than the management that was in place at that time. It didn't take long. You know, my way is, I would think it's your way too, that they're the most important thing you have.
100%.
If my guys are not on the floor, how am I gonna make money? The more they make, the more I make. So I taught them how to make more money. Then I made more money and the owner made more money. Things were going really well. I took over all the stores, started fixing one by one, opened up a new one for him also. It was going to be 6 months, 10 days to my wedding day. He sat me down and he said, listen, Hoss, he goes, I want to do what you do. So which is what? And that was my face, exactly your face. Meaning what? Because I want to run the stores.
This is an employee?
No, the owner.
Okay.
The owner of the franchise that I went to.
Okay.
And I said, I don't get it. What does that mean? Where does that put me? He's like, not here.
He's not here?
Yeah.
After everything you just did?
Yeah.
Wow, corporate America. Huh?
Yeah. So, and then I still remember the words he used. He's like, you're not made to work for anyone. I wouldn't agree with some things he would do. So I would tell him I don't agree. I don't like micromanagement. I'll give you the opportunity to make it. If you make it, good. If not, if I have to micromanage you, you're not made for me. So my style is the same way. Don't tell me what to do 20 times a day. I'm not gonna like it. And I was clear to him, if the numbers are good, what is your problem? You know what I mean? What you want at the end of the day to have success, you want money and you want your stores to run properly, and they are. And that's what's his answer, that you're not made to work for anyone. And I still went driving back home. My wife wasn't home. She was.
So you got fired now, basically.
Yeah. 10 days before.
10 days before your wedding.
Yeah. Now imagine, I bought the fourplex from my dad.
Oh my God.
I just built a new house. I just bought a new car. And then I lose my job.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on. I go home, and my wife was working still for the previous franchisee. And they were in Tremblant. They had their like yearly meeting. I don't want my wife to know. So I go home.
What do I do?
Yeah, what do? I get a call within like 10 minutes from a buddy of mine that worked there too, that was at that meeting. He's like, bro, you got fired. How the hell do you know? Like, I just got home. He goes, everybody knows. I said, how? He's like, your staff called the other staff from the other franchise saying Haas left. Does my wife know? He's like, no, don't tell her. Don't tell her, she's not like me. She's very panicky quickly. The next day she called me, she's like, stupid, I know that you lost your job. What are we gonna do? So I don't know, but I ain't working for nobody else. She's like, what do you mean? So I'm not going back to work for anybody, it's over. She's like, so what are you gonna do? So I don't know yet. I'm not joking, I got calls from Rogers to take over 13 stores. They know what I could do. You know, when you hear about someone in this business.
You created value in the marketplace.
They know what I could do. I said no. He's like, I don't make you an offer yet. I don't want your offer. Because if I come in, I'm not gonna do what I want. Because it's not my goal anymore in life. At that time, you could not buy a Bell store if you didn't have a Bell store already. So there was no way of having a business of what I wanted, because the first bid goes, let's say if this place goes for sale, with all the other dealers, who wants it? There is no way somebody doesn't pick up a dealership. So I picked up the shittiest dealership in the whole world because nobody wanted it, and I bought it.
Which was where?
Saint-Jacques, my head office now.
So wait, you lost your job. You knew you had no money, no more income coming in.
No more income.
You bought a new car, you bought a house, you bought all these things, the fourplex.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're like, you know what? Fuck it, I'm gonna buy something else.
Yeah, but wait, there's 7 months of that.
7
It took
months,
7
no income.
months.
What the
You know,
hell did you
And
do?
you got
how-
married 10 days later?
Yeah, we got married, went on our honeymoon, and my wife said to me, don't think about work, don't talk about work, just relax. I said, okay.
7 months?
7 months.
No income.
No income. You know what? You know what's funny is that it was the first time in my life that I went on chômage. And I knew chômage was 55% of your salary. I didn't know it was capped. I'm laughing, saying, so what? I'll go on chômage, make shitload of money, and I go to the office to apply, and I'm telling the girl this. She's like, wait. I said, what? She goes, no, it's capped at 55% of 39,000. I said, what am I going to do with that? She's like, what do you mean? So that doesn't pay nothing. She's like, oh, monsieur, c'est ça. And I still refused to work for anybody else. By the time we found the store, it was about 3 months. It took for it to come to my ears. Again, it was meant to be. I swear to God, I wasn't looking for it. Somebody called me saying that my brother works with this guy's son and apparently wants to sell. Do you want to buy it? Yeah. I want to see him. The number was ridiculous. But he knew what he had because he knew that I can't get in without paying the big bucks. And that's when I decided that, okay, I'll sell my fourplex, remortgage my house.
You couldn't refinance the fourplex?
No, because I bought it from my dad, remember? Okay. So I put a mortgage on it to buy it from my dad. So it was already really high.
Okay, so your dad made all the profit.
Most of it, yeah.
Okay, got it.
But I took my profit.
Daddy's little boy, huh?
That's right. No, but I took that money to build my first house also. So I remortgaged my house, sold the fourplex, remortgaged my dad's house to buy the store. Meanwhile, my wife gets pregnant. And I don't have the store yet, but I put the money in already. Yeah.
That's insane. That takes balls, man.
Yeah, man. But you know
And
what?
congratulations, man.
Thank you. 6 months, I paid off my business. That's all it took. 6 months of 7 days a week, like 7 a.m. I was at work.
Walk us
I
through
was
that
home
hustle,
10.
because I think people need to hear what it takes, man.
I knew already I was gonna make it. Otherwise, there was no way I was gonna buy it.
Confidence.
You know what I mean? How long was it gonna take? I didn't think it was gonna be that quick. I thought it was gonna take about a year, 2 years to break even. Everybody said you have to give it more time. I said, no, that's not my goal. If it takes that long, I don't want this business then. I know I could make it. And I think what was different between me and everybody else, even when I used to work for someone, was that if I sold you a phone, if you needed a case, even if I was making $10, I would still come to you to bring it to you. because I knew eventually you're gonna need something or you're gonna know someone. And this I learned from my dad's mistake, which was to take small jobs like I told you at the beginning. So let's say basements and kitchens. And when my dad got bigger and bigger and was building restaurants, he wasn't interested in the $5,000 basement anymore. So he wouldn't take it. So for 10 years, my dad wouldn't take small jobs. But then that restaurant chain stopped building. But nobody's calling my dad for basements anymore because don't call him, he doesn't do it.
He became too big to do the small things.
Yep. As big as I could be, I'll never stop giving that case or that little service that somebody needs. I'll still do it.
Love it.
Thank you.
Like he sold me, right? And Jimmy.
Like you, usually, no, he took 2 lines. He's more important. But I came to you because of your beard. No, seriously. I think I treat everybody the same.
Who's the XJ?
No, I treat everybody the same, honestly.
And now, do you have any plans for the future? Like, what else do you want to do? Like,
Where do you see yourself in the next 2 to 5 years?
Yeah, even the party business you were talking about.
Well, listen, the party business actually started with my son. My son was into Elmo at the age of 2. And I still remember I told my wife, well, find out, there's companies that are going to do mascots. And we called, it was like half an hour, $450. It's actually crazy. So I bought a mascot for $500. I paid one of my employees' little brother $100 for 3 hours to do Elmo. And Elmo came to my son's party. My son was in heaven. And now we have this thing at home, this Elmo. So my wife's like, what are you going to do now? So rent it. Rent it to who? So people are going to rent it? Nobody's going to want to pay $500 to that girl. Within a year, we had like crazy. I have stories now. Like it doesn't fit in our stuff. We have a warehouse.
The big market.
We have, yeah. You know what? The kids business it's amazing. It's fun. You're always in a happy moment. Nobody ever calls me to shit on me. Everybody calls me because they want to party, they want to have fun, and that day it's always good stuff. You know. So now we have popcorn machines, bouncy houses, cotton candy, over 55 different mascots.
February is my son's 1 year birthday. It's
Yeah?
gonna be 1 year old. I'll give you a call.
I will send you one on me
We'll figure
as
it
a
out.
gift.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
You don't have to, but thank you.
I want to.
Cool.
So that's a fun thing too. But I see myself in how many years? 2, 3, 5 years?
Well, like, do you have any medium-term goals? Any long-term goals?
Yeah, well, you know, after 11 years being with my partner, I bought him out about 4 months ago because my vision was different. And there's something I read, I don't know where, but it said, you know, I'm never worried about sharing. If somebody asks me, how did you do it? Even if you're in my business, I'll still tell you how I did it. There's something I read, it said, when you have a wave and you're going up that wave, nobody could take over your wave. They could ride it with you, but it's still gonna be your wave. Meaning if it's your vision, even if I tell you about my vision, you can't do what I wanna do because it's my vision. You understand? So that's where I think things change in my life. But the biggest thing that happened to me was when my wife got sick. About 2.5 years ago, my wife, I don't know if I told you this, my wife never woke up.
She was in a coma or something?
Yeah, my wife
So
was in a
that
coma.
was random, right?
Yeah, she
Where
had a
were you
fever.
at that time?
Sorry?
You were at work?
No, it was on a weekend. She had gotten sick. And that bug of flipping homes and stuff stayed with me since 20. And I was buying a house, like a street down my own house that I wanted to flip. That I wanted to buy it and renovate it and
You mean
sell
flipping
it.
cars? Now you changed to homes?
Yeah.
Flipping houses.
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
And I still do cars, by the way. I have this thing, but this is why, you remember I said you wanted to buy a car? Tell me. Like I know so many people because I have this addiction of
Yeah,
switching
but this
cars.
is buying. This is a lease.
It's okay, same thing. We were going to buy this other house and we were getting the inspection done and my wife came and out of nowhere, she was fine, out of nowhere, she starts sweating. She said, I think I have fever. So my dad touched her forehead. My dad was like, yeah, go home, you don't feel good, you're not okay. The next day she was fine. So on and off for a week that she was fine and midday she would say, I'm not okay. And it showed she wasn't okay. So Friday she was in bed, Saturday she was in bed, so I was outside with the kids because it was in May. And then I still remember she used to call me because she couldn't move, her body would hurt. She wanted water, so I would fill up her little container next to the bed. Saturday when I filled it up, we actually had an engagement party that night, we didn't go. And then I realized that Sunday, she didn't ask me to fill up the water. So from Saturday afternoon till Sunday, she didn't drink anything. But I let her sleep because I figured she's sick, she wants to sleep, she needs rest. And I tried waking her up and she wouldn't answer. So I kept calling, and she would just like moan. I said, I think you should get up and take a shower. Because you know, when I take a shower, it makes me feel better. I said, maybe it's gonna work. But she wouldn't wake up. So then when I moved her around to get her up, when she opened her eyes, it's as if she was looking through me. That's when I felt the weirdest thing, and I put her back down so she could sleep. My kids were home. I called my mother-in-law and I called my dad. I said, I need you to come here because I'm going to call the ambulance. And they said, why? I said, because my wife's not okay. By the time my mother-in-law got there, the ambulance was already there. And I still remember she was sleeping in like a fetal position. So when they grabbed her legs and made him straight on the bed, she started screaming. So they let go of her legs and she brought her legs back up. Now imagine, my kids are seeing this. They finally decided, okay, we're not going to put her on the bed because she freaks out. Let's put her on a chair. So they were able to get her to sit on the chair. But as soon as they moved the chair, she started screaming, but stuff that didn't make sense. She started calling out her mom. We get to the ambulance. I'm inside the ambulance. We're going to the hospital. And all I can remember is that the paramedic kept saying, I really hope she has high fever. And I'm thinking, why does he keep saying this to me? So we get to the hospital. They bring her in the emergency right away. Within 10 minutes, I could hear her screaming and screaming. And I'm very bad with hospitals because of what happened to me. I get very aggressive very fast. So if I ask you a question, you don't answer me, I'm going to lose it. So I go in and there's this nurse says, you can't be here, so don't tell me what to do. He says, well, listen, I said, I know, this is my wife. I will not go anywhere till you tell me what's going on. He's like, I don't know what's going on. If she screams again, you're gonna scream. And he says, I'm just gonna explain to you something, okay? I said, okay. And he showed me that when they move her leg, she screams. He's like, I'm not hurting her. He says, we just have to figure out what it is. I said, okay. 15 minutes later, doctor came to me and says, listen, you're not going home. But I figured that already. Like, she wasn't okay for me to go home tonight. I didn't think that my wife's not gonna wake up now. And they came back saying that her brain is swollen. She has an infection. We don't know what it is. We have to find it. We have to do tests. So we're going to induce her into a coma. By doing that, it allows the brain to go down again, hopefully. And if it's not that, then we could find the antibiotics to give to her. She'll be okay. It's like, how long? It's like, I don't know. So now imagine, from Sunday to Monday, she has all these tubes attached to her. Machines making her breathe because she can't breathe by herself anymore.
And she was all normal before that?
Yeah.
Never sick?
Nothing.
Like,
nothing.
Everything's fine?
She had went to the doctor on Friday and they are giving antibiotics, so they said they think that she has pneumonia. But to go do x-rays, and by Monday we'll have the test to see if it's the wrong meds. But we never made it to Monday. Two weeks in a coma. I stayed in the hospital every day. Now you don't know what's happened to your wife. When she woke up, she started having seizures. So my wife became epileptic because of what happened to her.
That's horrible, man.
Yeah. But like my parents stayed at my house. I don't want my kids to see their mom like that, so they couldn't see the kids. I would go back home at 2:30 so I could pick up the kids from school, stay with them an hour, go back to the hospital. Until she woke up, and when she woke up, she couldn't write, she couldn't talk, she couldn't walk.
And now? Wait, how long did this happen?
2.5 years.
And now?
There's some...
Memory loss.
Yeah, that's the worst part.
But she could read everything back to normal.
Yeah,
right?
she could read, she could talk, she could walk, she could do a lot of things that any of us could do. The only thing that my wife doesn't have now is that, let's say today we'll be at this meeting, tomorrow she'll remember.
Like nothing? No short-term memory?
No.
Only long-term? That's what you were telling last week. Only long-term memory?
Long-term, like she'll remember stuff from 10 years ago that to her would be so fresh that she'll be convinced and she'll fight you. That it happened yesterday. No, it didn't. This happened no, it didn't. And she'll be so convinced until you bring up something that would clinch for her. Then she's like, oh, okay. But I think the hardest part is that I'm an adult, I can handle it. We all go through ups and downs, so I have a short fuse sometimes. But it's my kids, it's very hard for them.
Shit.
Yeah, so she's on 3 different meds right now,
Well,
not to get seizures. They can't control it. They still don't know what she has.
Till this day, nothing.
Till this day. The way they explain it to me is like, let's say they know 100,000 diseases, okay? If they take your blood, well, they'll test for 100,000 things. But there's the other stuff, they don't know what it is. So they don't know what caused it. They don't know why she has seizures. They can't control the seizures.
Is there maybe another countries you could go to maybe to figure this out?
We tried different doctors to get different opinions, but when they study it, it's
nothing. Nobody knows nothing.
So you said earlier you had no income for 7 months. How did you survive?
One was savings. I had enough to be able to live. The way I see it is you should have enough to live for a year. I know a lot of people say it's 3 months, 6 months. To me, it's at least a year should be comfy. But my wife was working. My car was a lease. This is why when you said lease, I said it's actually a good thing because you could flip leases way easier than if you had purchased a car. So my lease price was so good that within 24 hours, my lease was gone. And I think it's a comment you made before that you're coachable. I think something that I have, not to toot my own horn, but I could adjust in life. If today I'm driving a Ferrari and tomorrow I have to drive a 1999 Civic, I will with no issues. So that's how, getting rid of the car that I had was nothing to me. It doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, if I look at it 5 years ago, I might have closed such a huge deal. And yeah, I spent it. I didn't spend it all, but I'll spend it so I could live good. But I could adjust. And, in business, you guys, I'm pretty sure you know it too. In 12 years being in business, I adjusted a lot too. There was ups and downs. And okay, well, today I can't afford that $1,500 car, but I can afford a $500. Okay, well, we'll go for the 500 until I fix everything again, then I'll go back. I think that's what those 7 months, it was easy to cut down everything. No more going out, no more. Why? This is the situation I'm in now, and this is my goal. To get to it, if I keep doing what I used to do while I was working, I'm never going to get to that point.
True.
So just adjusting to what the reality of life was for those 7 months. And then worse again, because, once you're in, you're all in.
100%.
I still remember my wife used to bring my son to the store so I could see him. I didn't see my son grow up. Like, he was 2. My daughter was born, I was home all the time, so I saw her a lot. My son, no. But that's
thank
the
God
sacrifice
all this didn't happen with your wife now. Like,
imagine at that age.
Yeah. That would be horrible.
But it's always taking the bad, switching it into something good. What she has now is that if you give her a mission or give her something to do, she gets so obsessed by it, she won't stop. So she helps me out.
Awesome.
Let's say for any immigrant coming into this country, or any person that has a dream and that wants to become an entrepreneur, that wants to have a beautiful lifestyle like you have today.
Thank you.
What would be your advice?
And Montreal or Toronto?
Oof, it's hard. I would go to Toronto right now.
Okay.
My wife won't. That's why I'm stuck in Montreal. Yeah, I love Montreal, but I love Toronto. Toronto to me is New York. I love New York. So every time I go to Toronto, I'm like, tweaked New York a bit. I think having a vision is the most important thing. And I grew up and I never read. I'm a high school dropout. Like, I finished high school, I never went back to school because I hated it. I wouldn't read books. And there was some stuff that was already in me. I still remember, if I liked a specific shoe, I would have a picture of it on my desk in my room as a kid until I would get it. Today, I'm still like that. It's like, if there's a car I truly want, it's gonna be on the background of my laptop until I get it.
Law of attraction.
Yeah, I think if you have a vision and you don't let go, but you have to have the right tools. There's a post I had done on this Starbucks coffee that I love, and I couldn't mimic it, and I was freaking out because I didn't want to pay $6.25 every morning to get my coffee, and I couldn't do it. And I asked the girl that was working there, and I tried YouTubing it, anything. Nobody shows how to do that coffee. So I asked the girl, how do you do it? I'll tell you what the coffee is. It's a blonde ice cap with cold foam. I couldn't figure out how to make the cold foam. I can make the coffee. It's an espresso that you put in the fridge, let's say, if you want. They even do it hot though. But that foam, I couldn't figure out how to get it done, and I knew it was in a blender. So I bought a blender. So I would try to make the mix every day, and I would go to Starbucks, look to see how they do it, until I found out their blade was different than mine. So I got the right blade, I can make that foam. So I think if you don't have the tools in life, if you don't have the right tools, you can't make it.
And be around the right people, right?
Absolutely, and ask. How many times did I ask the girl, the guy, how do you make it? How do you make it?
Absolutely.
Until one of them showed me the blade. Then I realized, well, this is why I'm trying for like 2 months now. I have the right blender, I don't have the right blade. So I think if you have a vision, find the right tools.
And ask.
Yeah.
So let's say for everybody watching this video right now, how can they follow you on social media?
I love Instagram. Well, Instagram and Facebook, I use them differently. Instagram, it's Hossein, S at the end. Instagram, I use it a lot for joking around. Some seriousness in it.
For bullying
mostly,
people, right?
Bullying, but in a funny way.
Okay,
so it's acceptable.
Exactly.
Joke around a lot on Instagram. Sometimes I'll put in serious stuff for work. Some deals that are rare that I could do, or some offers I want to do, I'll put on Instagram. Facebook, I find it hits a lot harder and a lot better. So I don't really put too much on Facebook. I don't want people to get
more
annoyed.
serious Facebook.
Yeah. I don't know. Let's say if I'm looking for someone to work for me, I'll put on Facebook. I like Facebook better than Instagram for that. Instagram, I find it's like anywhere in the world, people see it. I get a lot of Russians that comment on it. But Instagram, it's really like here. So I use them differently. But what I realized is that I make my living off social media now.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So you're getting a lot of business from social media?
Yeah. it's the connections that you have that you get.
Well, that's how we met.
True.
Sure.
But you, I think, was Facebook.
Social media.
Yeah. No, but what I mean is that relationship I'm telling you, I'm closer to you because of Facebook. If I would have seen you on Instagram, I think I would have more like maybe swiped versus Facebook. I actually watched the whole video. Well, you know what I noticed also? Once you meet people that have some kind of success, now it doesn't have to be money, any kind of success, they usually know each other. How many people were in your show that I know? You know, there's Nick Drossos that I know. Tatiana, I know her because of, you know, I was younger, it was her TV show. Sorry?
Kim Bruno,
I met her before.
Sperano.
You see, like,
well, that's how we met. We met
funny.
through Sperano.
Yeah, the show.
And we met Sperano through Louis Volumano.
Oh, for real?
And Louis we known for a long time.
Oh, wow. But it's funny how...
Yeah, it's a circle.
Everybody knows each other.
You see, it all starts from Greeks.
Actually, we met, you said at Sperano, so not really.
From Louis.
I don't know Louis. Don't make up stuff.
I love this guy.
I truly, you know, it's saturated, I find. Okay, like everybody wants to have the next freaking show, but I like your show.
Thank you.
I think, you know what, I think one of the shows that should stay is yours. You have that voice that I think you should do my voicemail.
He always had...
What a voice, yeah, seriously.
Oh man, like commercial voice, radio voice, like I think he has the best one.
Yeah, I find you guys a really good fit.
Thank you.
He has that voice and you have everything else. I'm just joking.
This guy.
No, I'm just joking. I think you guys are a really good fit.
Hossein, thank you so much for being on a short day. We appreciate you, and we're happy that we became friends with you.
Thank you.
You know, we look to be in each other's lives for a long time. And for anybody watching this content and wants to hear more stories like Hossein, follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, The Nick and Jimmy Show. Thank you very much.
Thank you.